Hey y'all, how's it going? I'm trading the ES futures on a 2000 tick chart with a 21 EMA. So I've got my overnight highs up here, overnight lows down here. I was kind of trying to see if they would fit more down here or right here, and they reacted pretty well right here because these swings over here were just kind of cutting it close with the market open, and then it did hold pretty well up here, and this was in the 6s and 7s right here. So it did. I ended up leaving it here. It reacted well, so that's how I ended up playing it. Now, starting off, we had this push down, we had this measured move down. 8 o'clock is around right in this area right here. So that's when I started looking at the chart. And we had this push down, break, and we started having another push down, finding resistance right here. I didn't find anything on the way down. It got choppy in here, and then, that's just so far from the EMA, you can't enter on that. And then we started going sideways. We had these lows, dragged the high up to here, so we're in this range right here. And we didn't quite reach that measured move. I wanted something to push above the EMA and just hold on, but by the time we get a push down, back down to the EMA, it just goes straight through, and then it rejects it to the downside, so we can't enter long there. But we push higher here. We retest the overnight level. We fade a little bit into it, but then we just get really choppy, and so it goes completely sideways. You don't want to enter and stuff like that. We push down. We fade this smaller range right here, and it kind of acts as like a breakout pullback of this overnight level, but it doesn't go very far. It gets about halfway into this range right here, and then we have a second leg up. So 2 measured legs up, nearly to the tick. As soon as it met that measured move, it dropped back down. But yeah, it got really choppy right here around the highs of this range. You don't want to enter into stuff like that. And so anyway, we had that second move higher. We dropped on down. So we have this downtrend here, break, 2 legs at a new low. And we don't get any good signal bar here, and then it gets very sideways, and then you don't want to enter all the way down there. It's just shorting low, which is the opposite of what you want to do. It's buy low, sell high, not short low. So anyway, after that downtrend break, a couple legs at a new low, we reverse back higher here, and I was hoping we could get like a clear reversal pattern, but it doesn't happen. We just rally really strong. We don't even reach the EMA, which means that we can't take these longs. So I need them to get to the EMA, and that just doesn't happen. So we push up here. This uptrend here gets an overshoot, immediately leads to a break. We have this 2-legged move down. It's kind of forming this range sideways here. Now, we had these 2 legs down. I didn't want to enter just on that because I was afraid we'd push higher and then we'd get like a failed second entry kind of set up to go short, which we did have, pretty decent context for that, except I just wanted to wait for it to confirm in order to buy. And so we waited for close back inside this range right here, and then I got filled with a limit order on this pullback, this small pullback right here, because I wanted room to these highs right here to be safe. I didn't want to push it straight out of them. And so waited for that close back in above the EMA, got filled on that pullback right there with the limit order, got out right at the highs. So that's how I played that right there. And so then you can see uptrend, break, and then you have this first leg higher here. I'm going to remove that for a sec so we can see this clear. So we have that uptrend, break, first leg at a new high, and then we have a break, and then this is the start of that second leg higher, which has to do with this trade right here. So we slightly pushed back below the EMA here, but we snapped right back, and we actually held a few times pretty decently. So the EMA was holding really well. It was pointed up. We had this measured move in play, as well as this much bigger measured move in play. And that's why I like this right here. It's just a to the tick second entry, but the EMA is holding so well, and you have this bigger measured move in play, that you can base this off of. So I like that, and it's not even that big as a 1 to 2 trade, but it stays within the measured move here. So that's what I liked. And even though we were into new highs of the day, I liked that measured move. We had it was very strong to the bullish side. And once again, the EMA was holding pretty well up until that trade right there. So we pushed higher here. We started going sideways. And then, which I forgot to have this marked right here, I entered on this, but I scratched it. So right here, I entered on this, but I scratched it because it pulled back. I just got spooked. I kind of convinced, you see how we have these leg down here, break, second leg, it went sideways, then we have these 2 legs down here. It's not super clear. I was taking the trade basically based on that, but we did push pretty far below the EMA, for a trade of this size right here. And, I still think it's a pretty good area to enter, but I should have considered that, this leg right here was the first leg pushing out of the range. So it was really just like a one break leg out of the range. So that's why I like this one better. I re-entered on this. It was kind of sideways, but you can tell what's going on. It had a clear break and then a second attempt lower, and then it pushed back above the EMA. And it's not like it's a big trade anyway. It's just 1-to-1 to these highs right here, which I did end up taking it a tick early, because of this congestion right here. I just wanted to get out completely before the trend line there, this upper range line. So we pushed higher here. It did kind of chop to get up to it because it was pretty choppy, but once again, the context was good. So, and also, you don't want to push it past this high, not only because the high is there, but also we are at this measured move right here. It's a short-term measured move, so you don't want to push it far past that. But of course, we did have this much larger measured move in play. So yeah, it was pretty slow for me. I mean, it had good movement, but I didn't get any good setups until this period right here. It was really just like a 30-minute period that all my trades were in today. So, funny how that works sometimes. But we push out, we get this breakout pullback. I don't like breakout pullbacks alone. It's really just a first entry. I'm not going to take that as a second entry. Let me expand that. So anyways, we bounce off of it, we push higher, and then we start going into this downtrend right here. We have this leg down. Now this leg down is important because, so notice since the breakout of the overnight high, we haven't really had any significant attempts to fade. So like right here, we broke out, we had the 2 attempts to fade, and then this is a failure to fade. So this entry right here is entering on the failure to fade the overnights. But like I say, price action gets bigger as more time goes on. So then you would start to look for bigger attempts to fade. So, it kind of just stays along going with this uptrend here, but then we get this big break right here. And so this is breakout, first attempt to fade, second attempt to fade on a bigger picture. So once again, price action gets bigger, the price action levels get bigger as time goes on. And so I didn't get this because I was downstairs, but we had that push lower here, and then you can draw it off of, let me redo that uptrend really quick. Let me just, oh, whoops, I didn't mean to grab that. So draw that uptrend here off those lows. We did have that overshoot, but it did hold right here. And then also if you put it to that wick, it ends up fitting pretty good. And then it actually held later on too. But before that, we had the second attempt lower here. And so clearly this leg is connected to this leg. We had a push down. We can expect a second push down. First attempt to fade. We can expect a second attempt to fade because price action moves in twos. So, and also, I didn't see any good long here. It was just inside of this, downtrend right here, and plus you didn't get that uptrend until after that bounce right there anyway. And then there was really no significant higher low or failed second entry in here. It just pushed on through, and you got this choppy higher low right here. That's also into the high of that move. You don't want to enter that, getting sideways. But once we get this second push down here, you can look for a failure to fade. So a second attempt to fade failure. Now I wanted it to hold above the EMA and not just close above, because when you have a measured move like this, price will often try to have a second attempt. And then we had this tick lower. It's not a very significant attempt, but once again, we had this bigger measured move in play. So that helped out with this trade. So, if you got in on this, it'd be good to wait for this bar right here, this higher low, but then just use the full swing stop, because that's not a significant swing. That's not a very protected stop. You want to use the full swing stop. And then the reason I only like 1-to-1 on this, I don't like 1-to-2 on this, is it's not just because you're going past that high right there. It's because, and even though you have that measured move in play, this bigger measured move in play, I still don't like 1-to-2 because some may think of it as this measured move competing with this smaller measured move. So they'll say, why not go with the bigger one and just go for 1-to-2? It's also because this range acts as a magnet. So this measured move is actually competing with this range. So prices are pulling, or this range is pulling prices back down to it, and this uptrend is pulling prices up to it. So you have to stay whichever one is winning out at the moment. And so when it rushed above, gave that higher low, use the swing stop, it's winning out for the bulls at that point. So yeah, I missed that trade, unfortunately. I was downstairs, but that looks really good. So we push higher here, and At this point, I stopped trading basically right at noon today, but we pushed higher here, break. We had this another attempt higher. We didn't reach the EMA. You can't take that. Then here you have one push down to the EMA, goes straight back below, then it has one bar rejecting it. And even when it closes back above it, once again, it's just a first entry. Now, when you come off of highs like this, whether it be channel highs or range highs, price will attempt to reach the other side. So just like with range rules, when you come off one side of a range, you're expected to reach the other side of the range. Same thing with channels. Now, of course, there's a bullish bias in this, but you only have one attempt down. You would want to see two legs down, even if they're not quite measured. You want to see two attempts to reach the other side before you re-enter long like that. So just thought I'd mention that. We push higher here. We're retesting it again. We get a tiny overshoot. It's really just a bounce. Then we have one push down, break, and we have the second push down. So two pushes down, but it's in no man's land. It's not off of anything. You can't enter long there. And then looks like we could be forming some kind of range right here. So I guess we'll see how this plays out, but I'm done for the day. So, by the way, just for anyone who might not have seen the post on the site, I'm stopping trading earlier. Usually I would trade until 2, but from now on it's going to be around 12:30 because you know, trading offers freedom. I'm going to be using the freedom. I'm going to be doing other things. You know, maybe I'll share some things I'm doing in the videos, but yeah, I'm just going to be stopping about an hour and a half earlier than I had been. So I just thought I'd mention that. And I'm changing in the description for the in the videos for the site. I'm changing it from the daily for the market structure updates for the hourly ones. I'm changing it from going till 1 p.m. just to noon. So I'm going to be not doing that last post that I would usually do on the site, but yeah, I'm just doing it till noon now, and then I'm still going to trade longer on some days, like everyone. Some days you're going to trade longer than usual, and on those days I'm still going to do the 1 p.m. posts and stuff like that. So yeah, I just thought I'd mention that in the video, and yeah, I guess that's it for the day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.